All right. We're excited for today's video. We're going to look at the next short squeeze candidate. Okay. Now, no guarantee, but I have some juicy data that you need to see. Okay. And I'm going to let you know WBD is setting up beautifully for a very nice play. Now, it's just going to be a matter of do we get a short squeeze or not? Right. I'm going to break down the key levels for you. I'm going to break down the data showing you why I think we could have a short squeeze because it has been short squeeze season, everyone. Okay. If you've been missing out on the short squeeze stocks, it's not just AMC and GME. It's not just BBBY, right? We had Veru, we had Vroom, right? There's been a lot of V stocks that have been squeezing. Fubo has been squeezing, right? We have tons and tons across the market, right? So it's hard to spot them and it's hard to get in on them early before everyone else does. I'm going to show you some ways for you to possibly spot them early before everyone else does, like we have. I've recently just taken a position on this today. All right. But I'm not, I'm not trying to pump it or shill it on anyone, but really just trying to teach you, right, how to spot these. Okay. So what we're doing is we're in the options trading tycoons Discord right now, and you can search. You can search for anything. You can search for stocks, and it'll pull up all the data, right? So there's tons and tons of resources in the actual options trading tycoons Discord, right? One of them is unusual options activity, right? So you can see I'm about 30 minutes ago, I'm speaking in the Discord. WBD looks next, right? And I'm letting people know I'm putting a call out, hashtag risky, right? Because it is a risky play, right? We're basically essentially looking for a short squeeze. We're looking for a gap fill up to 15. All right. And so it is a little bit risky, right? Because this stock has been in a major, major downtrend. All right. But look at our unusual options activity right here. Okay. So what we've got $47,000, all right, put into the 15 strike that expires 1 month from now. Okay. It's, August 16th. These expire on September 16th. Okay. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens, right? Now, not only do we have one, we have two right here, same strike. Okay. And then three, we're seeing the same strike again. All right. Four, 15 strike, 916. Five unusual options activities, six unusual option activities, all for the 15 strike that expire in 1 month, right? Then we have equity blocks and dark pools, right? This is a resource that tons of people have no idea even of, right? You can Google what a dark pool is and what equity blocks is, but essentially this is almost a way for market makers and hedge funds to kind of hide the plays that they're in, right? They're executing trades and transactions through the dark pool, right? So what we're seeing here, all right, is we're seeing that we had a $71 million, right? That's huge. Okay, that's a big sign to me. $71 million was traded yesterday after hours at 4:30 p.m. Okay. So this is market close yesterday, 75 or $71 million transaction. Okay. So, whether it was a buyer or a seller, right? What you have to realize is for every buyer, there is a seller. Okay. So, what we're seeing is lots of unusual options activity, suggesting we could be getting an impulsive move to the upside, right? We have dark pool activity, $71 million. Then in the dark pools, we have $2 million, $4 million, $3 million, $3 million, right? Okay, so this is all data from basically like the past week, right? Not even the past 4 days. This is just all of the data currently on WBD. All right. So now that we've taken a look at that, what we're going to do now is actually jump into the chart. Okay. And I'm going to get my big head out the way so that way you guys can see the actual chart data a little bit more. All right. And we're starting off on the weekly chart. Okay. Now, why are we starting off on the weekly chart? Because I like to look at the weekly volume profile. Okay. That's what all of this mess is over here, right? This is the price action. Okay. These are the candlesticks. This is volume by time. Okay. Most people only know of volume by time, and this is the main thing they pay attention to. All right. It's good to pay attention to volume by time, but a mistake people make is neglecting volume by price. Okay. So the way that the market moves is we move from high volume node to high volume node, right? And I'm going to briefly explain this in about 30 seconds. Okay. So stick with me. Look at this area here. This is a high volume node. All right. look at where we consolidated and chopped after the big drop, right? So we have low volume in these areas here, right? We can clearly see low volume in these areas. And what does it do through those low volume areas? Moves very, very quickly. When we come to our high volume areas, right in through here, look at what it's doing. We're chopping, okay? There's a little bit of chop, and then we drop down. Look at where our high volume node is, right? The highest volume node in the past 3 years is right at $15, okay? Um, Not only that, but we have what's known as bullish divergence, okay? Now, bullish divergence, if you take a look, all right, it's going to be when the price of the stock is in a downtrend, okay, and making lower lows is the term, okay? So we have a low here, right, and then we made a lower low, all right? On our RSI, we have a low here, and we have a higher low, right? So what we're seeing is an uptrend in the RSI and a downtrend in the price action. Okay, so the relative strength of Warner Brothers Discovery has been increasing, okay, as the price has gone lower. All right, this is a technical indicator that technical traders, right, like myself and other traders, we look for to see if we're going to get a pop off of this bullish divergence, right? It's an indicator that we may see bullish activity in the future, right? So we're looking at a large time frame chart, seeing that we're bouncing off of this trend line, right? Here was the first bounce, okay? And here's our second bounce. It's really, really good. These are good signs, all right? Now what we need to do is zoom into the daily chart, and I'm going to pull up the daily levels for you guys, okay? So we'll go here and take a look at the daily chart, as I just said. And what are you seeing, right? On a smaller time frame, again, we are seeing bullish divergence, okay? Let's take a look, all right? We have a low, lower low, all right? So, and, you know, a low here, right? So we're creating lower lows, and again, we're creating higher lows on the RSI. Okay, we are approaching this bullish divergence trend line here. So there is a possibility we could dip, continue to dip and keep falling before bouncing off of here potentially to rebound up higher, right? So if you want to play WBD and you want to try to get in on the squeeze, you can enter now. All right. If you wanted to, you can enter now. All right. And look to have a stop loss below 1277, right? If you are not a very risky trader, right? Our recent lows here is 1277. It's trading at 1296. Okay. And if you're fearful that WBD is going to continue to make lower lows, but you're interested in possibly playing this short squeeze, you can enter here, right? And have your stop loss at this 1277 low that we previously hit. Now, if we do break below there, our next price target, okay, is going to be 1144. All right. So remember that if we break 1277 and stay below there, right, and we're below 1277 for a few days or over a week, most likely we're going to head down to this 1144 level, right? Now, the main thing that I really like on this, okay, we went over on the weekly chart how 15 was the high volume node, right? That was our next high volume node. That was our area of interest, okay? We're going to take a look at the chart now, and I'm going to highlight the big gap, okay? That's what this is right here. These are gaps on the daily chart. These gaps fill 90 to 95% of the time historically in the stock market, all right? Now, when are the times that it's not going to fill? Well, let's say a company goes bankrupt. Let's say a company gets delisted. Let's say a company or a share, a stock, right, has a good reason for a lot of investors to keep selling and not buy back in. That may be the case with Warner Brothers Discovery. Okay, they had a deal, and there was a deal with AT&T where AT&T shareholders were given WBD shares. AT&T shareholders are holding that because it's a high dividend stock, right? It's a good dividend stock. They're not interested in getting shares of WBD. So what are they doing? They're taking the shares that they're receiving from the AT&T deal, all right, they're taking those shares of WBD, selling them to buy back into AT&T and put the money into there so they can keep their dividend reinvestments going, all right? So, in my opinion, that is a large portion of why this thing has been in such a downtrend. Okay. And it could be one of the factors that prevents us from filling this gap up. But we just took a look at the option data, right? And what strike did we see? The 15 strike that expires 1 month from today, right? It's August 16th at the recording. These contracts expire September 16th. Okay. So that's basically speculating that there's going to be a very aggressive move, right? For those call options to expire in the money, right? Otherwise, if they expire out of the money, they'll be worthless. All right. Currently, we would need a move of about 15% within the next month. Now, if we do get a short squeeze, right, we potentially would see much larger than a 15% return. And I'd be looking for the gap fill, which would be about a 27% return. Okay. Now, if you're trading options, these are going to be much more volatile, and you're either going to make a lot more than 15 or 20%, or you're going to lose a lot more than 15 to 20%. Okay. So you really have to have a game plan. And that's what I'm trying to give you guys with this video. Okay. Is, know your levels, know your targets, right? And pay attention to them, right? So we have 1381, 1463, 1521, 1578, 1649, and 1705. All right. And again, below this 1277, we start heading down to 1144. All right. So, what I expect to see is this, a little bit of chop and consolidation as we are doing. All right. I don't want to see it start trading below here. All right. If we do, most likely we would trade below, look to catch a retest at 1227 or 1277 to head lower, right? Then you could look at shorting this, right? If we get rejected, we trade below and you and start heading there. You can try to ride the momentum down to 1144. But it's showing good signs, right? There's three stages to your reversal. There's the downtrend, right? That first trend. Then you have your box consolidation. Well, that's clearly what we have here. And then after your box consolidation, you have the reversal, right? Your uptrend. Okay. So, things look good for us to hit 15. But we're battling some key areas. Okay. We're battling that 1381. It's been a resistance level 1, 2 times valid. We've hit it. Okay. And it was not support most recently when we fell through it. All right. So as soon as we break past 1381, we're going to be looking at 1463. All right. And once we get above that level, we're going to be at a 50% retracement of the most recent move at 15.21. Right. So 15 is not too far out of the stretch to get a 50% retracement on, off of this move. But again, there's lots of risks. Okay, this stock has been dropping. AT&T shareholders have been dropping the stock. It can continue the pattern of dropping, but I just gave you guys all the bullish cases. We looked over the equity blocks and dark pool. We looked over the unusual options chain activity. We looked at the daily chart bullish divergence that we're looking at now. We're looking at the daily chart gap up to fill. That fills about 90 to 95% of the time historically in the stock market. And we looked at the much larger time frame, the weekly chart. We looked at the much larger weekly bullish divergence. And we also looked at how 15 is our high volume node on the weekly chart. It's our highest volume node. Price action likes to move from high volume node to high volume node. So there's a chance that the price action will be drawn towards that $15 level. All right. Really appreciate you watching the video and making it this far. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to see your stock in the next video, make sure to comment below. I do viewer requests every single week. And, I'll just try to make the video, give you my analysis, unbiased on what I think, where I think the stock can go to the upside and the downside. And, if there's any setups that I would play. All right.